Amusement parks, as the name goes, were made to have fun. Unfortunately, some incidents have led to tragic encounters of people who visited amusement parks, whether it be a loose screw somewhere or neglect from the operators. Today, we will be taking a look at some of the worst amusement park accidents in America. So we start with the Big Dipper at the Krug Park. In the heart of Omaha, Nebraska, stood the enchanting Krug Park, a haven of laughter and joy for families seeking a day of fun and excitement. At the center of this amusement haven was the Big Dipper, a towering roller coaster made of wood that promised thrills and chills to all who dared to ride. The summer day of July 24, 1930, dawned bright and promising, drawing a diverse crowd of children and teenagers eager to experience the adrenaline rush of the renowned roller coaster. However, this day would soon be marked by tragedy that would forever alter the fate of Krug Park. It was after 6 p.m. on that fateful day when 4 cars that were way up the roller coaster veered off the tracks and came down, bringing along with it the loss of 4 lives and 17 injured people. The tragedy was investigated, and this is what was found. A screw had gone loose off of a car, which led to some of the cars veering off course. The cars then took a deadly deep of about 35 feet from the ground. The incident ruined business for the park, and the roller coaster was also banned in Omaha. By 1940, the park was closed, and today, it has been redone and is now known as Gallagher Park. Now let's delve into another tragedy that happened at Kings Island, Ohio in 1991, way before the Big Dipper incident. However, in this case, there were 2 incidents in different places at the same park. It all began one Sunday evening at about 8 p.m. on the 9th of June, 1991. 2 friends had visited the park and were walking by the pond. One of the boys wanted to have a little fun, so he dipped his hand into the pond in an attempt to splash water on his friend, but instead, he let out a bone-chilling scream and fell unconscious into the pond. His friend, who was alarmed, quickly jumped into the pond to save him, but he also collapsed into the pond. One of the workers at the park heard the commotion and ran towards the boys in the pond. He also jumped into the pump, and like the 2 boys before him, he also passed out in the pond. By now, people had noticed what was happening, so some men came around and helped pull them out without touching the pond. The victims were given CPR and taken to the hospital, but the only one who made it was the first guy who fell in. Both his saviors lost their lives, but that was not all for the night. 1 hour and 15 minutes after the pond tragedy at Kings Island, another unfortunate incident occurred. A 32-year-old woman had spent the day at the park with her friends. She decided to board the Flight Commander ride, which was a few minutes before the park would close. She secured the shoulder harness and lap bar, both checked by ride attendants. The ride began with 4 full rotations without issues. However, during a slow leftward roll, a fatal accident transpired. The woman fell from the capsule, striking the ground head first. She was also rushed to the hospital, where she was pronounced dead of multiple body trauma at 10:34 p.m. Both tragedies led to an investigation that revealed that for the boys, there was an exposed electrical line in the pond which electrocuted the men, which is why they fainted, and the woman, there was a flaw in the design of the ride. The next incident is Haunted Castle Fire. On May 11, 1984, a devastating fire engulfed the Haunted Castle at Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson Township, New Jersey. This popular walk-through dark ride turned into a nightmare during the park's operating hours. The maze-like structure made escape difficult, leading to the tragic deaths of 8 teenagers, aged 14 to 19, and injuring several others. Investigations revealed critical safety deficiencies, including inadequate emergency exits, flammable materials, and insufficient fire suppression systems. This incident prompted significant safety improvements across U.S. amusement parks. Families of the victims filed lawsuits against Six Flags, and the tragedy influenced changes in state and federal regulations for park safety. The Haunted Castle attraction was permanently closed, and a memorial plaque was placed near its former site to honor the victims. Another tragedy is the Schlitterbahn Water Park incident. On August 7, 2016, a devastating incident occurred at Schlitterbahn Water Park in Kansas City, resulting in the tragic death of 10-year-old Caleb Schwab on the Verruckt water slide, known as the world's tallest. The Verruckt slide, named after the German word for insane, boasted a towering height of 168 feet, offering riders an exhilarating experience with its record-breaking 17-story drop followed by a steep ascent and another significant descent. On that fateful day, around 2:30 p.m., Caleb sustained a fatal neck injury while on the Verruckt slide, leading to his tragic death. He was decapitated and his headless body was found at the bottom of the slide in a pool. Witnesses reported seeing Caleb being thrown from his seat and bouncing between the netting and the slide before eventually sliding down. Additionally, another witness mentioned that earlier that day, a 14-year-old girl complained about her Velcro safety belt coming undone. An investigation was launched to determine the cause of Caleb's death, but no definite answer was given about his cause of death. However, it was obvious that it could have been from the result of faulty equipment. The park, on the other hand, permanently closed the slide to prevent any future accidents. The last, but definitely not the least, is the first Disneyland fatality. It happened on the Matterhorn bobsleds. This ride was inspired by the majestic Matterhorn mountain in the Swiss Alps. The Matterhorn bobsleds were introduced in 1959, blending fantasy with adventure according to Walt Disney's vision. However, in 1964, Disneyland faced its first tragedy when a 15-year-old boy stood up on the Matterhorn bobsleds ride, leading to a fatal fall. Despite efforts to save him, he passed away 3 days later. Following the incident, Disneyland conducted thorough investigations and implemented enhanced safety measures. Despite the shadow cast by the tragedy, the Matterhorn bobsleds remain a popular attraction, emphasizing the park's commitment to ensuring visitor safety above all else. These incidents, as wild and scary as they may be, should not stop you from enjoying the thrills of visiting an amusement park. However, from the various incidents, you should also be very vigilant and ensure that whatever ride you go on is secure and safe.